Brian Kilmeade on Fox and Friends, basically saying the same thing, that the left is really secretly driving Joe Biden. Yeah, I hope.
If Joe Biden had gotten out of the gates in the 90s, you could actually make a case, moderate Joe Biden, because technically he was. If he had not fallen on his face in 2007 when he wanted to run for president again, you could say moderate Joe Biden. I looked at his record. But the Joe Biden that we saw emerge as the former vice president to go and get the nomination because no one wanted Bernie Sanders is a different Joe Biden, because we listened to him. And we also, Pete, look who's around him. The people who have signed off to back him are not going to put up with a moderate candidate. Not only is he trying to sell us on being moderate, he's on the record of not being moderate. And what makes people feel, the undecideds and the independents, that he is not going to go way to the left? Why is the squad so silent? Why did Bernie Sanders sign a document basically saying Joe Biden's going to be the most progressive president in his lifetime?
Brian, he's completely captured. He's completely captured by the anti.
But he won't admit it.
No, he can't admit it. In fact, he's going to rely on doublespeak because he needs the people in the middle of places like Pennsylvania who rely on the energy industry to actually vote for him if he wants to win.
But Pete, can you just say this? Know what's really diabolical? He knows the American people want to moderate.
Woman in the middle.
But he also
Jedediah,
knows
she looks like she wants to kill them.
It's almost as if he's running on something to win, but he's telling everyone, I'm not going to be the person I am to get elected.
Almost like a politician, which is what voters rejected in 2016.
Yeah, he stands for nothing. That's why he has Bernie Sanders front and center out talking about his economic agenda. That's why people know that if they vote Joe Biden, they're actually voting for Kamala Harris, because she's going to be the person that's going to really have the influence there. And he seems to not care at all, by the way. So you're going to hear a lot of hypocrisy. You're going to hear, remember, this is the guy who authored the crime bill that's now talking about criminal justice reform. He's been in the Senate for how many decades now, and he's acting like he's the person that's going to come in and effectuate this major change on criminal justice, when his record actually speaks to the complete opposite. So people are going to have to decide.
Well, they are so jumbled. This is the only argument I can come up with that Biden is running the right campaign, is that they can't get their message straight. Yeah. First off, it's like two 17-year-olds who, have got into their parents' liquor cabinet, just going back and forth. And that poor woman in the middle there, she's like, this is not, what are you talking about? He's left, he's not left. And then she comes out with, he stands for nothing. And so the idea that he's a cipher, I think that's actually accurate.
Yeah.
But this whole hypocrisy thing, like his whole record has been strong on crime, and now he's not. Well, you're not necessarily, the message is not cohesive from them.
But I still think it is effective for the voters. They're all fighting over these Republicans who don't know who they are, who watch Fox News. And Joe Biden's not on Fox News. They're not watching MSNBC. They're trying to push the MSNBC, the centrist Republican voters. But the reality is they're all watching Fox News. So when Jedediah Bila, who used to be on The View, says that, he stands for nothing, I still think it's effective.
Well, yes, but I don't think any of the people that are gettable are watching Fox News.
Oh, I think they are. I think they are. I know plenty of Democrats who watch Fox News. It's insane.
That may be the case, but I think that in terms of them going out with guys like Kasich and whatnot, I don't think they're looking at Fox News viewers, right? Kasich is, he was on Fox News, but he is, persona non grata there. When you talk about Fox News, how big is the audience of Fox News?
Pretty big.
Well, how big though? I
don't know off the top of my head. I know it's way more than MSNBC. It completely annihilates.
Tucker Carlson is by far the biggest star on that show, and his show gets 4 million viewers a night. I think on a really big night. So maybe there's a universe of of 30 million that watch the network.
I don't know. I grew up in Buffalo, as you know. Every time I go back to Buffalo, the Democrats in Buffalo, the Rust Belt types of voters, you go to the gym, you go to the restaurant, you go to anything, and Fox News is on in the background. Not MSNBC, not CNN. And it's not even because they're Trump viewers or Tucker Carlson viewers. It's because they lean more conservative and they'll watch the daytime stuff, which is what this was. And that's what concerns me, is that there is some sort of it's different messages for different audiences, and Biden can't get in on that audience because he doesn't have access to it.
Right. I mean, that's true. Although you can go and look on foxnews.com after the RNC, Kasich supports Biden. But I think the bottom line is, though, is that ultimately persuading these people, when Trump has the ability to come out and present a different image, if they're gettable at one point, there's no reason to think that he doesn't have the ability to get them back.
Right.
If they're gettable for Biden, if they're that shaky, they're either there or they're not.
Right.
And fishing for those people seems to me to be a bit of a waste, and perhaps comes at the expense of the enthusiasm of your own base. Now, maybe that's not important. It doesn't matter if I vote unenthusiastically for Joe Biden. It's still a vote for Joe Biden.
But it's contagious, and I think what you're saying is right, because what Jedediah did specifically as the woman on that panel is she created just a little bit of doubt, so that whoever might be inclined just remembers, oh, right, this is that Joe Biden. How do I know now that he's going to be more friendly to us, and that he's not just going to be, oh, it's really about Kamala Harris. Well, I don't know if I like her as a centrist Republican. I don't know if I feel comfortable with her yet. And at the end of the day, like you said, if Biden's not exciting that base, historically we know where that leads. If I'm not sitting here calling up my friends and family to vote for Biden, that's a problem. I'm pretty freaking loud.
Right. Tell them to vote for somebody a down ticket. And
that's what I've been
doing. and then they'll pull the lever for Biden when they get
Or
there.
as Linda Sarsour said, I would rather have Biden as an opponent in the White House than Trump as an opponent in the White House.
Well, of course. Yeah. I think that is, that was always my feeling too, even with Clinton, is that that's a much better foil for the left. This conversation just starts at a different place. They're the opening bargaining position. And I think, the Fox people were correct in that respect, that the left is going to try and influence Joe Biden. I hope they're right. Mm-hmm. But who knows?